Thank you, Your Eminence. I wasn't going to do this now, but then others were raising their hands, so I thought I'd go ahead. I wanted to thank you and the committee for yesterday. That was a perfect way to begin this crisis intervention in our church, so thank you. Thanks to all those who made it happen. It was important to hear what we did and to pray together. I wanted to share my own thoughts and my prayer, and then I'll sit down and let the things continue. I reflected on Canon 1752. The salvation of souls, which must always be the supreme law in the church, is to be kept before one's eyes. And then I looked at the promises we made as we were ordained bishops, two especially. Do you resolve to guard the deposit of faith, entire and incorrupt, as handed down by the apostles, preserved in the church everywhere and at all times? The next, do you resolve to build up the body of Christ, his church, and to remain in the unity of that body together with the order of bishops under the authority of the successor of St. Peter the Apostle? I would ask that for future agendas, we all revisit that canon and our promises and make that part of this gathering each time, because the purpose of the church is the salvation of souls. What I hear from my flock is that I've failed, and we all have, to live that canon and to live up to the promises I made 6 years ago. Brothers, I urge us all to remember why we're here. There's tremendous important things to be done, but we have to start with those principles. I really echo what Bishop Cousins just said, and I think that idea of fraternal correction, I would love to see us really develop that. I'll be a bishop at the end of this month, 6 years, and I've been edified by the goodness of the men in this body, of dedication and tremendous hard work. I want to really commend everyone who organizes these gatherings. The prayer day yesterday and the presentations this morning and this afternoon were really top-notch, greatly presented, and for me, greatly appreciated. What occurred to me as the presentation from the counselor or psychologist was the virtues of the gospel in combination with science, in a sense, the science of virtue, to use all the wonderful tools, but to go back to those basic values of the gospel that we're called to live. In my own personal reflection and in talking to my flock, a rural part of East Texas, about less than 10% Catholic, what I've heard from people, which resonates with me, is that the whole McCarrick reality, how did that happen if we really believe that what was going on was wrong? And I think that's a core issue that is sort of out there in the air as I hear it. We've heard something about the whole question of homosexuality. I was pleased to hear it from the seminary report, because seminarians are vulnerable in the position that they have. I think we have to really take that question seriously. It's part of our deposit of faith that we believe homosexual activity is immoral. The people, those that we label homosexual, are children of God, and they need our great care. But to me, that real care comes from acknowledging the sin and the reality that all of us are sinners, called from sin to virtue. I think the question with the McCarrick situation is, how did he get promoted? How did all that happen if we really all are of one mind that this is wrong and sinful. There seem to be questions about that, and I think we have to face that directly. Do we believe the doctrine of the church or not? There's a priest that travels around now basically saying that he doesn't, and he seems to be very well promoted in various places. Brothers, I think part of the fraternal correction or the fraternal support we offer each other is to say, can that be presented in our diocese? That same-sex marriage is just fine, and the church will one day grow to understand that. That's not what we teach, and I think we really have to ask those serious questions. Condemning no one. We get berated for bigotry that is not real. Jesus Christ brings good news to the world. With the recent youth synod, confusion and difficulty, and all of that is what I heard. I didn't hear much about the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. He lived, died, and rose so that we could be free from sin and death. I think the more we can share that good news, the more we can overcome the tragic things that we're facing now.